Welcome back to the Mish Mash of History podcast. Last week we did the rise of the Krays. This week we're going to do their fall.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be great. We'll explore how they fell. Because
Yep.
last week we went through it and they seemed pretty.
Unstoppable.
So before we get to the actual story, I wanted
Mhm.
to tell you about a few characters
Oh,
before
okay.
we delve in. So first we
Okay.
have Frank Mitchell.
Oh, Frankie.
He was called the Mad Axeman,
Yep.
um, because didn't he didn't he like kill someone in prison with an axe?
No.
No. All right,
No.
you explain that more than me.
Yeah.
I've got the notes, but it doesn't explain.
Okay. So what happened was Frank Mitchell was known as a nutter. Like he was
Yeah,
known as being a bit
yeah,
like not right in the head.
yeah. He was a bit special.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he was always like locked up in places like Dartmoor and other like high security prisons,
Mhm.
and would end up escaping.
Mhm.
And one time he escaped and ran into like an old woman's house.
Oh.
And then in that house he grabbed like a fire axe kind of thing. Not even that time. I think it was like a little like like the meat cleavers.
Oh yeah. I know what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah, it was like a meat cleaver, and then what he did was like he shouted from inside the house like, "I've got an axe. Don't come in or this old woman's dead." And
Oh,
then
so very
and
polite.
then like
Man.
and then they kind of swarmed the the house, and then he was taken back, and then he was just known as the Mad Axeman.
Damn. So on December 12th,
Ooh,
1965, the
yep.
Krays helped Frank Mitchell to escape Dartmoor prison.
Yeah, they did.
The reason why that is because Ronnie had befriended Mitchell while they were serving time together in Wadsworth.
Yep, Wadsworth Prison, a
Um,
mental institution.
yeah, where they're both inmates.
Yeah.
Mitchell felt that the authorities should have reviewed his case for parole, so Ronnie thought that he would be doing him a favour by getting him out of Dartmoor. Yeah, Mitchell thought he could get parole, but he was still a nutter, so no one was going to give him.
Yeah, yeah, they tried to get him like a sentence date.
Yeah, but the people were like, "No, we're not letting that man out."
No, the Home Office was like, "Fam,
Like he killed someone with a cleaver.
no, he never killed anyone.
Did he not? Okay, well
No,
he threatened people with a
he th-
cleaver.
he threatened to kill, and he was quite violent.
Yeah, he held up a. Is it like a what is it called? A hostage?
He held us. He had a hostage situation.
That's it. He had a so he's a bit dodge.
Yeah.
Once Mitchell was out of prison, the Krays held him at a friend's flat in Barking Road,
Yep.
East Ham, which
Yep.
is in London, I think.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
206A Barking Road. That's the exact flat.
This is description I got. He was
Yeah.
a large man with mental disorder and found it difficult to control. He disappeared, but the Krays were acquitted of his murder. So people thought that because didn't they try to lobby the government to get him parole with like letters? I think you remember you telling me about it.
They sent letters to the Home Office
Yeah.
and to like the Telegraph
Uh-huh.
to try and get his story out there and to try and get him a sentence date.
Mhm.
But it never worked.
Yeah, it never worked. So then he become like even more crazy, and he became basically a liability in that
Yep.
flat.
Yeah.
So they thought they killed him, but he was acquitted of his murder and house sites, but they were responsible for his death. Yeah, everyone
Yeah.
seems to think it is.
It's
So another, it's
It's
just
because it's the truth. It's as the three people involved in his murder have come out and said, "Yeah, we did it." So
it's
I
not-
wonder who did it then.
Okay, and then you've got Jack McVitie, which is he the one that gets kaput?
He's the one in all the films that you watch get brutally stabbed.
Yeah, he's the one that gets like stabbed on that beanie or whatever he gets chucked on in Legend.
In Legend, yeah, he gets thrown onto a sofa and stabbed. But that's not actually what happened.
So on October 1967,
Yeah,
4 months after the suicide of his wife Frances, Reggie was allegedly encouraged by his brother to kill Jack the Hat McVitie, a minor member of the Kray gang who had failed to fulfill a £1,000 contract, £1,000 contract, £500 of which had been paid to him in advance to kill their financial advisor, Leslie Payne.
Yep.
Because when Reggie went to prison, Ronnie tried to take over the whole thing, and he wanted to be more like, hands-on with the business. So he tried to get the Leslie Payne to send. Where did he was trying to do something in Africa, wasn't he?
He wanted to build a city in Enugu.
That's it. Always remember that scene. That's the best scene.
He wanted to invest £50,000 to make a city in Enugu, Nigeria.
That's it. Oh.
Did you know, Leslie, that Enugu means utopia? So, the fuck?
It's got a quick Google Translate.
In the 60s, Ron's like, quick.
Get that book out.
Quick.
So, but then he didn't he not kill him, or he was like killed? Because he didn't shoot him, but then he just went to hospital and was fine.
Well, that's what
Leslie Payne.
Yeah, that's what legend shows. I don't know the
actual true story.
Yeah, I don't know the actual truth to that, but I know that Leslie was one of the main contributors to evidence against the Krays. So I'm gonna guess that's something to do with it.
So this is the story that my research showed about the night he died. So McVitie was lured to a basement flat in Evering Road, Stoke Newton, in the pretense of a party. Upon entering the premises, he saw Ronnie seated in the front room. Ronnie approached, letting loose a barrage of verbal abuse and cutting McVitie below his eye with a piece of broken glass. It is believed that an argument broke out between the twins and McVitie. As the argument got more heated, Reggie pointed a handgun at McVitie's head and pulled the trigger twice. But the gun failed to discharge, and so he stabbed him, basically. Yeah. Just over and over and over again. Which is kind of where you see Reggie. I don't know. Do you think Ronnie's mental disorder kind of rubbed off on Reggie? No, I don't think that. Because towards the end, he becomes more reckless. At least my research shows that.
Yeah, but I think that's more because of Francis's death. I think
yeah, I was going to say that.
I think he had paranoid schizophrenia, but was able to control it because of being not because of being a twin, but you kind of get the idea of what I'm trying to say. It's
yeah, it's like
Ron got it worse than he did, so Reg was able to control it. But then when Francis died, he kind of
lost control of it.
Lost control of everything.
Because despite him beating her or raping her, I can't remember what he did to her, he still loved her.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Tony and Chris Lambadou and Ronnie Bender helped clear of the evidence of this crime and attempted to assist in the disposal of the body.
Yep.
And this is what our research showed, because I wrote this down. This event started many people turning against the Krays, and some were prepared to testify to Scotland Yard as to what had happened.
Yep.
Fearing that what happened to McVitie could easily happen to them. Yeah, because McVitie was a part of the gang, so they thought...
McVitie was someone who did little things wrong, but was still like a member of the gang.
Yeah, so people
But
thought
yeah,
like, oh, if I
one
messed
fuck up and I'm dead.
yeah, one fuck up and that's it, and he gone in a
Yeah.
sofa.
Yep.
So this is the trial. Detective Chief Superintendent, I think it says
What?
Superintendent.
Okay.
That's his official thing.
I've never heard of
Leonard
that.
Nipper Reed of
Oh,
Scotland Yard.
Leonard Nipper Reed, yeah.
That's it. Was promoted to the murder squad, and his first
Mhm.
mission was to bring down the Kray twins. During the first half of 1964, Reed had been investigating their activities, but publicity and official denials of Ron's relationship with Boothby made the evidence that he collected useless. Reed went after the twins again in 1967, but frequently came up against the East End wall of silence, which discouraged anyone from providing information to the police. Yeah, that's kind of what we were talking about last episode.
Yeah.
It's like people trap themselves. If they said too much, there goes their family. There goes them. There goes their dog. So like it kind of become a wall of silence.
Yeah. And then after the death of Cornell,
that kind of just rippled away.
Yeah, you see it in most of the films. I know that you can't recall them credible.
No, but it's a good visual adaptation of what could happen.
Yeah.
What happened.
Like, Ron shot Cornell, then like 1 or 2 days later,
people saw that they had to go, and
the police was like, right, we can't put up with murder on the streets.
No, so they actually had to do something.
Yeah.
To probably dismay Boothby.
Yeah.
By the end of 1967, Reed had built up enough evidence against the Krays. Witness statements incriminated them as other evidences, but none made a convincing case on any one charge. Yeah, so he kind of had all this evidence, but he couldn't find one solid charge.
Yeah. Since like he had all the evidence to put anyone away. But
he was like, what do I do to get them all done?
But it was so spread
that he was like, oh, I could get these two, but then them two would know. And he kind of needed enough evidence to get them all done.
Yeah, all of his evidence was so spread out that he couldn't get them for any one thing.
No.
So it was kind of like well played on the Krays parts.
Yeah,
but
they put their crimes so sparsely that they couldn't actually get done of anything.
Yeah, but like it then just came on top on like the 3 murders that almost came like back to back.
Yeah, so early in 1968, the Krays employed Alan Bruce Cooper, who sent a Paul Ennelly to Glasgow to buy explosives for a car bomb.
Yep.
After police detained him in Scotland, while buying these bombs, Cooper was basically speeding, so the police stopped him.
Oh yeah.
And found like a bomb. So they were like, right, what you do with that? Just gonna do some fireworking, you know?
Yeah, you know.
So the witness no, hang on, sorry, I lost my place. This evidence, so he confessed to be involved in the 3 murder attempts that had happened to the lawyer, the other 2. The evidence was weakened by Cooper, who claimed that there was an agent in the US Treasury Department investigating links between the American Mafia and the Kray gang.
Yep.
Yes, so basically police also was stopped then by someone going, oh yeah, it's kind of out of your hands now.
Yeah.
US Treasury's kind of taken over.
Yeah, the US Treasury, MI5, and the FBI?
No, CIA, I think is.
FBI or CIA, one of those 2.
Yeah.
Like, big, like, agenty kind of place in America. One of them, like, those three were all working together to stop both the American Mafia, his bomb kind of business, and the Krays. Since at that time, the American Mafia and the Krays had kind of started a deal.
Yeah, but no one had really touched him because of that deal.
Yeah, to make the next Vegas in London. And then kind of when the Krays started to go nutty, the American Mafia started to try and slip away.
Yeah, they were like, "Damn, we kind of picked the wrong people here."
Yeah, and then that brought the bomb squad. You know, that's what they're called, the bomb squad. They brought the bomb squad in.
Yeah, to deal with.
And then I completely fucked up everything.
Yeah, so the botched murders were an attempt to put the blame on the Krays. Yeah, so the Mafia just do that. Cooper was being employed by a source of one of the Reed's employers, officers, and Reed tried using him as a trap for the Krays, but they avoided him. The Krays were smart. They were like, "Nah, we're not involved in that.
Yeah, no,
that's not us." Bruce Cooper, who was sent Paul LV, were major explosive dealers who worked for the Krays, and then the American Mafia. So the police couldn't do anything, and just bait drop the case on that part.
Yeah.
Now we move on to their imprisonment.
Hey, and have we talked about Cornell yet?
I don't think I'd bring up the Cornell. Why? What happened to Cornell? Oh, I actually don't think I've brought up Cornell.
We've just kind of mentioned it. We haven't said what happened.
What happened to... Reevaluate me, because I apparently I haven't...
Georgie Cornell. Mr. East London went South London. George Cornell was an East Londoner who moved down south to South London and joined the Richardson gang. He was always seen as a traitor, obviously because of the split in London that I spoke about last time. And then Cornell always had like a big feud with the Krays. And when it all started to go a bit downhill, like when 64, I believe.
Sounds right.
64, 65. Cornell was drinking in the Blind Beggar pub, which is in East London. And Ron found out about it, and Cornell called him a fat puff the day before, or like sometime before. And Ron went to the Blind Beggar with a gun, walked in, found Cornell, shot him in the face, left.
Yeah.
That is quite literally all that happened.
And that also plays into the wall of silence, because the one witness wouldn't say anything because they threatened.
They threatened their family.
Yeah, the bartender. They threatened their family.
Yeah, the barmaid.
So yeah, that plays into another,
Yeah, that plays into the start of the wall of silence, which then leads into the Frank Mitchell.
Yeah,
and then that leads into Jack McVitie. Then that leads into their imprisonment,
which is now what I'm getting to.
Yep.
Eventually, after they, decided to get off their asses, Scotland Yard decided to arrest the Krays. On the evidence already collected, in the hope that other witnesses would be forthcoming once the Krays were in custody. On 8th of May 1968, the Krays and 15 other members of the firm were arrested. Exceptional measures were used to stop collusion between the accused. Nipper Reed then secretly interviewed each of the arrested and offered each member of the firm a deal if they testified against the others. Whilst in prison, the Krays had come up with a plan, which included having Scottish Jack Dixon to confess to the murder of Cornell, Ronnie Hart to take the McVitie murder, and Albert Donahue to stand up for the Mitchell disappearance.
Mm-hmm.
Donahue told the twins directly that he was not prepared to be cajoled into pleading guilty. The anger of the twins. He then informed Reed, his mother, that he was ready to cooperate. Reed set up another secret interview with Donahue and was the first to tell the police everything that he knew. Yeah, because he was like, they're in prison, they're in trouble, what are they going to do?
Yeah, he was... No, that was during the court case.
Yeah, but he was like, they're probably going to go...
Yeah, they're fucked.
I want to be on the right side.
Yeah, they're fucked, so I'm just going to say my piece and stay outside, please. Also, what if the Krays were like, oh yeah, let me say my piece and let me stay out?
Yeah, what if the Krays was just like, yeah, Donahue did it, Dixon did it, and Hart did it?
I mean, technically...
They could.
They won't be wrong.
No, they were involved, at least.
Because Donahue, Foreman, Charlie Kray, and one other were all in the van at the time Frank Mitchell was murdered.
Yeah, so that one was right.
So theoretically, Freddie Foreman, Albert Donahue, Charlie Kray couldn't, he never shot. But whoever the other person was, I can't remember off the top of my head, who was in the van, could theoretically be put in by the Krays for killing them.
Mm-hmm.
So they wouldn't be wrong if they did that.
No, they wouldn't, but I guess they didn't want to, or maybe the police didn't go to them or something. So Ronnie Hart had initially not been arrested and was not a name initially sought after the police. With Donahue's testimony, Hart was immediately arrested, offering the same terms as the others. Hart then told Reed everything that had happened during the McVitie's murder, although he did not know anything about what happened to the body. This was the first time the police knew exactly who was involved and offered them a solid case to prosecute the twins for the McVitie verdict. Although Reed knew for certain that Ronnie Kray had been murdered, George Cornell in the Blind Beggar pub, no one had been prepared to testify against the twins out of obvious fear. Upon the finding out that the twins intended to cajole him, Scotch Jack Dixon also turned in everything he knew about the Cornell murder. So basically, after the one guy, who was it, Donahue, told...
Basically, it was a huge domino effect.
Yeah, it was just like boom, 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 boom.
As I know, Foreman was one of the people that went down with the Krays.
Yeah.
Him and John Lambriano? I think that's his name.
Hang on, I had that sounds like a name that I've got written down somewhere. Hang on, give me a sec. Superintendent.
I love how we're in the how we.
It was Chris Lambanano.
Yes, never mind.
Yeah. Yeah, they also went down with him.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, Chris Lambriano. Never mind.
After this, they managed to track down the barmaid who was working in the pub at the time of the murder, give her secret identity, and give her and her family's secret identity to testify to seeing Ronnie kill Cornell, and she just immediately went, "Yep, that was him."
Yep.
Frank Mitchell's escape and disappearance were much harder to obtain evidence for, since the majority of those arrested were not involved with the planned escape and disappearance. We decided to proceed with the case anyway, and with a separate trial for Mitchell once the twins had been convicted, so they could kind of get more evidence and put the pieces together. So once they were just immediately like they put to 55 years in prison.
30 years.
Was
35
it?
Years, yeah. 30.
I read that. Yeah, 35 years in prison for being at least involved in the murders of.
It was also their court case was also the longest court case in UK history.
Is it? Did not know that.
Mm-hmm.
How long did it go on for?
I don't know how long it went on for. I just know that it was the longest court case. I'll look it up quick. How long it was?
Yeah, you look that up.
So do you want to carry on about their prison life?
Yeah, they spent majority of their time in solitary confinement. At least Reggie did.
Yeah.
Ronnie started a gang in prison, which basically got him whatever he wanted, and he was just, I think people were scared of the showers after where they, because their meeting place for their gang was in the showers, so they trade like, alcohol, booze, phones, drugs probably, and just in the showers because there was no cameras, obviously. So they could do anything in there. I think a lot of sex went on. But yeah, apart from that, and then Reggie, all I know apparently is Reggie spent a lot of time in confinement, and every time he went out of confinement, he'd punch a guard and go back in.
Yeah. It was because on his own he was actually scared of
other people.
Yeah. Because he kind of realized when he first got there that if he were to get like beaten up in prison and like fucked up, then like it'll tarnish their name.
Yeah, so he just kind of stood there and just
he just kind of stayed in solitary confinement.
Better inside than out.
He was actually in. Reggie was actually in prison about half an hour away from where we live.
Really?
Yeah, he was in Maidstone for like 1 or 2 years.
Damn. Fair enough. Well, that's all that I found on their imprisonment. But the later years, Ronnie and Reggie Kray were allowed under a large police guard, and this was one of the largest police guard for prisoners. I think it was over 15 prisoners were with them, and then another 20 were surrounding the area to attend the funeral service of their mother, Violet, on 11th of August, 1982. They were not allowed to attend her burial in the Kray family plot at Chingford Mount Cemetery.
They were also during the funeral. They were also handcuffed to like big bulky gathers.
Yeah, but they were only not allowed to go to her burial was because Ronnie had bit off someone's ear.
Fucking hell.
And because Ronnie wasn't going, Reggie said he wasn't going to go.
Yeah.
So they still kind of stayed, united in that front, I guess.
Also, when they showed up to the funeral, they kind of had like an audience. Yeah.
This is what I was about to say. The funeral was attended by celebrities, including Diana Dawes and underworld figures. Like, celebrities came because they all knew their mother.
Yeah.
Because their mother was just...
And she owned a pub.
Well, the mum?
Yeah. They bought her Esmeralda's barn, I think.
Oh.
Or they gave her a pub.
Yeah.
I remember that.
So celebrities knew her.
No, but have you seen the clip of them two arriving at Violet's funeral?
No.
They're like getting out of the car. They're both like cuffed to like
these big bulky
like gym lads, and like there's like audiences of people like going like, "Oh my god, it's Reggie and it's Reg." And like they're like it's like as if like a celebrity had actually come and they were like all like waving and like trying to like give him handshakes and shit, and it's like, what the fuck?
Yeah, because they were just they were
criminals. It's like, what the fuck?
So I guess they got good reception.
Yeah.
To avoid the publicity that had surrounded them, the twins did not ask to come in to attend the father's funeral in March 1983.
Nah, they didn't like their dad.
Nah, I'm guessing his dad was a bit of a dick.
Yeah.
Ronnie
Actually,
Kray...
I know that.
Oh,
I know
no.
this isn't the. I know this isn't the fault, but
Mm.
I know why they didn't like their dad. If you
Why
want to go
didn't
into
they?
that.
Yeah, I don't exactly know why.
They didn't like their dad because he used to abuse their mum.
Oh.
Like he was like a worker, and then would just kind of come back, hit the wife, have a drink, then go upstairs and go to bed. But when Ron was 16, I want to say, his dad came in, thought no one was home, hit Violet. Ron was listening in upstairs. Ron ran down and like shouted at his dad and said, like, "No one fucking hits my mum," and punched him in the nose.
So they were hardcore
yeah.
at a young age.
And then kind of just screamed at his dad, like, "Don't you ever fucking touch my mum again."
Go on, Ronnie.
And guess what?
What? Then he never did.
Nope.
Mm.
So there you go.
There you go. I mean, clearly it
worked.
Yeah, clearly it worked. So, Ronnie Kray was an A-category prisoner. Denied almost all liberties and not allowed for a short period after they found out he was doing drugs in the showers. He was not allowed to mix with other prisoners.
Nope.
He was eventually certified insane, with paranoid schizophrenia being tempered and constant medication. In 1979, he was permitted and lived the remainder of his life in Broadmoor Hospital, Crawford, Berkshire.
Yep.
Which is basically like a mental where he lived out the rest of his days.
Yeah.
He died there.
He died there 1995.
Reggie Kray, constantly being refused parole and locked up in Maidstone prison for 8 years, category B, so he was category B prisoner. In 1997, after Labour had won their election, he was transferred to the category C Wayland prison in Norfolk.
Yep.
In 1985, officials at the Broadmoor Hospital discovered a business card of Ronnie's that led to evidence that he would transfer from separate institutions were operating Krays Enterprise, a lucrative bodyguard and protective business is for Hollywood stars.
Yep.
Together with their older brother Charlie Kray and accomplish at large among their clients was mainly the big one was Frank Sinatra.
Yeah. Get off, Frank.
He'd go in, he'd be like, shit, what if I get stabbed up in the East End? Yo, Krays.
Yeah.
Give me.
As he was already on good terms with them.
Yeah.
Because they'd be photographed with him, and like he'd come to their like clubs and that. So.
Yeah, he was good old chums of them.
Oh yeah, you know. Best mates with the Krays, isn't it?
He hired 18 bodyguards from the Krays Enterprise to come visit the 1985 Wimbledon Championships. Documents unreleased on the Freedom of Information laws revealed that although officials were concerned about the operation, they believed there was no legal basis to shut it down. They did shut down in 1990 after Charlie Kray dismembered the board of the company.
Yeah.
Basically, he went, right guys, stop drinking your beer, go home.
Yep, go home.
And in... hang on.
You quickly switched up your script.
Yeah, I'm trying to find it. Hang on. So in August 2000, Reggie Kray was allowed on bail because he had cancer.
Liver cancer, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then 2 or 3 months later, he died.
Yeah. Yeah. He died October, so he died 4 months after he was released, pretty much.
Yeah.
Reggie Kray died. Ronnie Kray.
Ron died 1995 to a heart attack.
Yeah.
And
He saw himself in the mirror.
Yeah.
So.
And Reg wasn't allowed to go
see him.
to the
See his funeral.
Yeah.
So that is overall the rise and the fall of the Krays.
The rise, the fall, and the death of the Krays.
Yeah. The entire lifespan of their criminal years.
That is the life of the Krays.
Pretty much. We didn't go over their childhood years, pretty much, but...
Not much, but...
You know, we were there.
We got a grasp.
So, before every historical period, we will do one final thing.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm calling it the Final Caucus. It's basically a question based on... based on the topic. Now, for this episode, I told Fred this a bit. Did you?
Yeah, you've told me this. I haven't thought about it, but I have an answer.
I'll say it and then. But did you have a little think about it?
Yeah.
After I told you, yeah.
Not much, but yeah.
Little ponder.
Yeah.
Sitting on the bog, just
sitting on the bog, going, "Oh fuck."
Right. So the question is, do you think in the future we will ever see a crime family or a crime organization like the Krays?
No.
No.
Nope.
Why not?
Because no one's civilized. No one has the patience, quote unquote, and the calmness to make it.
So elaborate.
So if you look at gangs now, you've pretty much, you've got the Bloods, the Crips, then you've got roadmen.
Just average roadmen.
Yeah. How many of those do you think are going to be sat there going, we're going to meticulously plan our protection rackets and we're going to build up an empire in London?
Yeah.
Exactly.
I also think that they will not be because we have so much surveillance.
Yeah.
People can't get away with dropping litter with at least one camera picking it up in London.
Yeah. Let alone someone getting shot in a pub.
Yeah, for everyone to see.
Yeah.
So yeah, I agree with you. I don't think there will ever be something like that within London, or
it might be able to happen in America.
Yeah, but I don't think there'll be one major one.
No, it won't be like a Capone or a Pacino, not Al Pacino. It's a fucking actor, you dumbass. Escobar, like it won't be an Escobar or a Capone
or a Kray. No, I don't think there'll ever be a single or family organization for crime.
Since now, it's almost like as if they're going like Native American with crime. It's a really
elaborate.
So it's like before you had like almost countries of crime.
Yeah.
So you had like one family here, one family there. You might have like 3 families running certain parts of New York, let's say. But now you've just got loads of little gangs spread everywhere. So you could have like 5 different gangs who run nothing really in New York, and then another 20 in Illinois, and then like 15 in London. Like, it's almost like as if they're all like their own little tribe. So that none of them,
they'll never
none of them-
organize.
yeah, they'll never be organized enough to be like, hey, yo, what's up? Because then it's like, oh, well, you're a part of a different gang, fam. Fuck off.
You're part of the Crips blood.
It's like how Native Americans were with their tribes. Like
Actually,
mate, you ain't part of our tribe. Piss off.
yeah, I get what you mean now. Yeah, I kind of.
Yeah.
I definitely agree with you in that sense.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was the rise and the fall of the Kray twins.
Yeah.
Thank you
Right.
for watching.
Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening.
Yep, I don't think you'll watch us, but sure, if you want to watch the
Yeah.
logo.
If you watch the logo and some different pictures,
Sure, hell yeah.
check out our YouTube.
But yeah, thank you for listening, and we will see you with whatever topic we pick next.
I'll shove a poll underneath this one. You can pick which one you want to do. I doubt anyone's actually gonna do anything on it, but
you know,
I'll stick a poll on there, and if we get some form of answer,
yeah,
then,
we'll shove it into the thing.
then we'll do that one.
Mm.
So, we'll see you guys in the next episode of Mish Mash
Of History podcast.